Chapter 751. Even though Trump was useless, he was not a fool. In this family, both he and his wife, Elaine, were vain. However, Elaine's vanity was at least 10,000 times stronger than his vanity. Elaine was the type of person who loved her face, and her vanity was at an extreme level. How could she possibly have the face to say that he was the one who was filled with vanity? Was this woman that shameless? As he was feeling very angry and frustrated, Trump could not help but feel that something was not quite right. Elaine had always dreamt of moving into the villa at Beacon Top. She had even envisioned moving into the villa way before the renovation was completed. Not only that, Elaine had even dragged him over to the villa to check on the progress of the villa's renovation a couple of times already. When they visited the villa, Elaine was even planning what kind of furniture they should be buying for the living room. They had been discussing the kind of sofa they should buy, the kind of bed they should buy for their bedrooms, and the kind of dining table they should buy for their dining room. In other words, Elaine had never thought that Hazel would be providing them with furniture for their villa. Thus, she had always been ready to spend money to buy their furniture. She had always been very excited to move into the villa. But, now that the villa was already completely renovated and they had to spend some money to buy some furniture before they could move into the villa, why was Elaine suddenly so reluctant to spend money to buy the furniture? There must be something wrong. Therefore, Trump asked coldly, "Elaine, why are you so reluctant to spend money to buy the furniture? What is the reason? Did you use up most of our family's money?" Elaine panicked as she replied, "No. No. I simply want to save some money for the family. Emma might need to use some of the family's money since she just started her business not too long ago. So, how could we just spend money on a whim for our pleasure?" Trump frowned before he said, "Come, I want you to turn on your banking app so that I can see your bank balance on your cell phone." "What do you mean by that?" In truth, Elaine was panicking, but she could only pretend to be annoyed as she said, "Trump Richard. Do you want to check my bank account balance? Does that mean that you do not trust me at all?" "Yes," Trump responded coldly. "I truly suspect that you have already spent most of our family's money, and this is the reason why you are trying to dodge this conversation. Based on your personality, you would have wanted to move into the villa at Beacon Top ages ago." Elaine said, "Why are you being so suspicious of me? Before we got married, we had already come to an agreement that I will be wholly in charge of managing our family's finances. Who gave you the right to check the balance in my bank account now?" When Trump saw that Elaine was still trying to beat around the bush, he immediately guessed that there had to be something wrong with the family's money. At this time, Trump said seriously, "Elaine, don't think that you can just get away with it so easily this time. If you refuse to let me look at the balance in your bank account, I will divorce you." "Divorce?" Elaine exploded in anger. After that, she blurted out, "Trump Richard. You are amazing. How could you threaten to divorce me? Do you still have a conscience? Have you ever thought about all the hardships that I have suffered all these years with you? Do you even remember the wrongs that I suffered because I was pregnant with your child before we were married? Have you forgotten the number of people who were pointing their finger at me and insulting me behind my back?" "I have not forgotten any of that," Trump continued speaking. "That is also the reason why I have been so accommodating and forbearing throughout all these years. It is still the same way now. However, I demand to know how much balance there is in our family's savings. Don't forget that I am also a member of this family, and as such, I have contributed a lot of income to the family. Before we fought with my mother and before things went downhill with the Richard Group, I was constantly receiving a dividend of $20,000 to $30,000 a month." Elaine snorted coldly before she said, "Don't try to use this method on me. In this family, both he and his wife, Elaine, were vain. I am the person in charge of our family's finances, and you are not qualified to ask me about my bank balance." Trump gritted his teeth in anger before he said, "Okay, then. You are going to refuse to show me your bank balance? Fine. If that is the case, I will go and file for a divorce with you tomorrow." I have nothing else to say to you anymore." "You dare to do that?" "Why wouldn't I dare to?" Trump shouted coldly. "Let me tell you, I am going to find a lawyer tomorrow. If I can say it, I will do it. Anyway, there is not much money nor assets to divide among this family. We only have about $2 million of savings and a house. Our child is already so big and is already married, so we do not have to fight for the custody of our child. We can get divorced very quickly without any problems whatsoever."